What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and once again, Dana Schwartz is in the news in this Bounding Into Comics article, this time for another pretty blatant attack on men, because that's what we know Dana Schwartz likes to do. I think this quarantine is really getting to Dana, to be quite honest with you, because usually there's some space between her attacks on men on Twitter, but maybe she's not working as much, she's just having to stay at home and just cannot stay off Twitter because it just seems to be over and over again recently. She's put out some very interesting things on Twitter, and we will talk about it here. But one of the things I thought was interesting about this specific tweet and the reaction it had was what happened after that. And usually this doesn't happen. She went on a block spree with a bunch of people. The first person I saw was right over here, Steph from My Nerdy Home. Make sure to check her out. She said, hey, look, I'm blocked. Is there anybody else that's blocked? And that kind of began a bunch of people sharing out there. Now, I am blocked from Dana Schwartz. I suppose that's not a surprise, although I don't think I've really interacted with her that much. So that's what made me think it's got to be a blockchain of some sorts. But there are a decent amount of people who follow a lot of people who are still not blocked yet. But then I saw Anna, that Star Wars girl, as well as Tugs were both blocked. That makes me think it might be on Anna, that Star Wars girl, just because she has a big following. She put out a big tweet about it earlier today. Maybe that's where the blockchain originates. I do not know. But let's see what exactly she said that caused so much outrage, so much backlash. What attack on men was it this time? This does come from Bounding Into Comics, John F. Trent. Marvel Studios She-Hulk writer Dana Schwartz compares men to Oscar the Grouch as she continues her man-hating Twitter tirades. And thank you to John F. Trent for the article. Marvel Studios She-Hulk writer continues to flood Twitter with her idiotic ideas and opinions that involve hating men. Her latest tweet depicts men in straight relationships as Oscar the Grouch living in his iconic trash can. Schwartz simply wrote, every straight relationship, with this picture attached to it. Now, again, I am blocked, so I can't pull it up, so you'll just have to look at it from here. But hopefully that's good enough. You can see 226,000 likes on this. Pretty impressive. Now, it's interesting that she says every straight relationship is a nice, good-looking woman with a literal piece of garbage right here. I wonder if gay relationships, if it's two men, are they both garbage? Is that how it works? Or is it just straight men? I'm surprised you didn't say every straight white male. And you actually just said every straight relationship. I can't believe you'd say something about that, about minority males, but maybe that's just how you feel, Dana. Now, again, I'm all for jokes, and I actually, a couple days ago, defended Dana Schwartz for one of the jokes she put out there about the rise of Skywalker, because it was just that, a joke. But when you look at her history, I think it's pretty safe to say that these are her actual feelings, even if she does try to play this off as a joke. And it just makes you wonder, why is she a writer for Marvel? Why is she writing a TV show, She-Hulk, that you would think you'd want some men to watch? Why is this person out there just constantly beating the shit out of men on Twitter? Don't you want those men to watch Disney Plus too? Don't you want those men to take part in your product? I guess not. Because it seems like all these people, it doesn't matter where it's at. If it's at Lucasfilm, at Marvel Studios, at DC, it seems they just have free reign to say essentially whatever they want with no repercussions. And what John F. Trent does here is he actually gets into a bunch of old tweets from Dana that kind of explains it. This isn't just a one-time thing. She actually feels this way about men. Now, some people may think it's just a joke, but Schwartz's past tweets regarding her hatred of men provide context that it's more than likely not a joke. She truly thinks men are like Oscar the Grouch, with the comparison of being they are garbage. And I will say, men are trash from time to time. From time to time, I can personally attest to that. But let's go take a look at some of what she says down here. She has specifically taken issues with white men claiming they were gatekeepers of literature and important books, even calling for the banning of books written by white men. Obviously, we shouldn't ban all the books by white dudes. I think it just shows how people are so furiously and deliberately attached to the canon itself, they respond to a slightly hyperbolic point made in self and half jest with such vitriol. Now, this is talking about this article that she wrote last year. We need to kill the Western canon. And why is that? Why do we need to kill the literary canon? Well, because 26 writers, 4 women, none black. It's time to banish it. Too many white men wrote these books. We need to change it up. That's essentially what she's saying. And of course, she follows up here. The literary canon as it exists is racist and patriarchal, and it keeps reinforcing itself. I can't wait to watch what she decides to write for She-Hulk. Can't you? If you're a man, can't you just imagine yourself enjoying this series so much? I'm sure even a lot of women are going to have an issue with people like this, but that's who Marvel wants in charge, evidently. She would also double down and claim that all books written by white men should be banned for 15 years. Well, it actually says 20 years. You know what? Screw it. No novels by white men in high schools for the next 20 years. Now, then she goes on a little thing where she's talking about the sequel to Top Gun for some reason. She starts getting into how unfair it is for women in society today, that they're forced to put up with all these pressures to look good in all of these things. You can see right here, don't you see how objectifying that is? Men can get fat and bald in age, but since women are not people, merely objects to bolster a male-aimed fantasy, if they're not desirable, they're literally worthless, or worse than worthless, because they ruin the fantasy. Now, I think it's strange that Dana is saying this, talking about objectifying women and how disgusting that is. You shouldn't do it. Most men aren't aware of the energy, time, and money that women are forced to spend, especially as they age, in order to be palatable to a society built around male expectations. I wonder, and I have to credit Memology here. This is Memology. This is Dana Schwartz, the She-Hulk writer that cries misogyny every 2 seconds. I don't know exactly if she's walking the walk here. Who is this aimed for? What fantasy is this for? If you have an issue with people being objectified, it seems strange that you would get all dolled up and pose for this. I don't have any problem with her going out and doing this. She can do whatever she wants. It just seems very strange to go out and do this, then cry misogyny and cry objectification when you're doing photo shoots like this, Dana. But again, check out Memology. Awesome channel right there. Now, let's continue. Also, white men should be banned from teaching literature until 15 women win the Nobel Prize for Literature in a row. Now, I do think that that is definitely a little more tongue-in-cheek than the rest of what she's saying. She has attempted to deflect her hatred of men by calling her takes jokes. And again, I have no problem with her telling jokes because I defended her for telling a joke. But it just seems to be somewhat more than that. Look, am I saying we should ban all men from writing? Wait, yeah, I actually am saying that. The worst sex writing in 2018 is all by men. This article from EW, whatever it is. And then she criticized Wreck-It Ralph for this. My favorite thing about Ralph Breaks the Internet is that it figured out who the real villain of the internet is. Insecure, needy men who think women belong to them. So there you go. This is what Dana Schwartz feels. Now, this is very interesting, too. This doesn't surprise me. Maybe her most interesting tweet is her personal confession that she has a low self-esteem and bad taste in men. I believe I learned something from every relationship I'm in. Usually that I have low self-esteem and bad taste in men. Well, there you go. Anyways, you think you get the gist of Schwartz's outright hatred of men despite her claiming it's all a joke. It's quite clear a lot of her statements are not jokes despite what she claims. And even if you do believe her that it's all jokes, there appears to be an underlying truth to the jokes. She repeatedly uses the same material over and over and over and over again. It tells you something about the people and the company who hired Schwartz to write for She-Hulk, doesn't it? Again, thank you to Bounding in the Comics. Thank you to John F. Trent for this article. And I think at the end of the day, that is what everyone is wondering. Why is Marvel hiring this person to write for their TV show, She-Hulk? When she goes and spouts these things, is that what they want the show to be about? Do these people even care? We know that Marvel Comics put up, the trailers that they have just done for Safe Space and Snowflake and the New Warriors, the vitriol that it's got, the downvotes it's got. I don't think they care about that. I don't know if they care about anything other than a message at this point in time. And it's disappointing because I could get behind a She-Hulk TV series if it was done right and tied into the MCU. But there is no way that I'm going to waste any of my time watching something like that written by Dana Schwartz, who goes out there and just kicks half of their fan base to the curb every time she hits tweet on Twitter. And I think that's just sad and unfortunate for Marvel, for Disney, and for the fans. But let me know what you guys think about this. Dana Schwartz opening her mouth once again, hitting send on Twitter once again. Make sure to let me know in the comments below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.